Welcome to the Carriker Chronicles, the People Show. Checking the pulse of Rescue Nation, brought to you by XCancer. Check them out at XCancer.com. And up to this point, we've got a good amount of data to analyze when it comes to Mickey Joseph and the type of job that he's doing as our interim head coach here at the University of Nebraska. So I'm going to give my grade on how Mickey Joseph has done so far. I'm just going to dive right into it. Now, you look at that Oklahoma game, I'm going to give him a mulligan. I mean, it was insanity that week, okay? He did not have Bill Bush as his D coordinator. We hadn't had a bye week to gather ourselves. I'm going to give him a mulligan on that, and I think that's very fair. Now, you go to the Indiana and Rutgers game. For those two games, I'd give him an A, a flat-out A. The team looked different. Defense was rock solid. Somehow, special teams almost appeared to be a strength of ours. Imagine that. The O-line did look the same, okay? And when Chubba was put into the Indiana game, okay, he did. Part of this is on the O-line, sack, fumble, touchdown, Indiana, which kind of brought them back into the game, at least for a little bit at that point in the game. But noticeable, vast overall improvements incredibly quickly, okay, is what I saw at that point in time. All right, so when you keep in mind that Mickey Joseph, so after those two games, I give him an A. When you keep in mind that he's building a freaking plane as he's flying it, can you even imagine trying to do that? And I've said this before. Like, we were in a plane, our football program, it was doing this. It was going down. Okay, the pilot was removed. The powers that be on the plane said, "Hey, Mickey, you've never piloted before, but could you go in the pilot seat and could you try to save us?" And Mickey said, "I'll do my best. You got it." He leveled out the plane and we started to ascend a little bit. Okay, he's literally building the plane as he's flying it, ladies and gentlemen. I can't even imagine what that would be like. And this is the football head coaching version of that. Now, Purdue. You got the Purdue game. Okay, a little bit better opponent, a little bit more skill, a little bit more talent. They got a lot of six-year players on that team. Okay, our defense struggled a little bit in that game. I believe, if I recall, they gave up over 600 yards and 43 points. So, yeah, there were some holes there that still need to be addressed, obviously. Now, our offense, in my opinion, they put up a lot of points. They put up a lot of yards. Trey Palmer balled out, okay? And you're never – I feel like we became a little bit too dependent on the big play, okay? But you're never going to tell a guy to catch the ball and stop short of the end zone either, unless you're trying to run out the clock at the end of the game, which is not what we were doing. But at the same time, we couldn't do anything consistently. We became very dependent on the big play these next couple of games, Purdue and Illinois as well. And look at the amount of plays that Purdue ran. They ran 101 plays. Nebraska ran 52. The time of possession was over 42 minutes in favor of Purdue and 17 and change for Nebraska. Now, I still felt decent after the game, even though we lost, okay, because the offense was explosive. And we had a legit chance to win the game despite a struggling offensive line and a struggling defense at that point. We still had a chance to win the game, and I felt decent after that game, okay? Now, you go to the Illinois game. Now, this is a tough one for me. It's tough because Casey gets knocked out. Like, we go ahead. We take the lead, and you can almost feel the momentum. I remember thinking, oh, we're going to start to take over this game now. And then Casey gets hit while he's throwing the ball. Boom, turnover, and Chubba has to come in. He had missed 2 days of practice earlier that week due to a sickness. So this is a tough game for me to kind of analyze. The one thing I will say is if only there was another quarterback on the team who could have came in and somebody who could have made plays, maybe with his feet or something like, I don't know, a guy named Logan Smothers maybe. I have to imagine that if Chubba Purdy was out those 2 days of practice that week, I was wondering who was getting all the extra reps. Probably a guy named Logan Smothers. So for me, that could have been another option that we went to. I did a whole show on Logan yesterday. If Casey can't start this weekend, it should be Logan. Even if Casey can start, we should have a package for him. If you missed it, go back and check it out. All right. But these two games in particular, the offense really wasn't able to consistently move the ball with any sort of consistency at all. And we had some big plays versus Purdue versus Illinois. The offense sputtered immensely. Illinois got a good D. Chubba had a rough game. But you start to look at the amount of plays and the time of possession that's in favor of our opponents when you look at Purdue and Illinois together. Because Illinois ran 70 plays, we ran 49. So if you start to combine these two games, combined, Purdue and Illinois ran 171 plays, we ran 101. In 2 games, we ran the same amount of plays that Purdue ran in 1 game against us. The time of possession, Purdue and Illinois, was over an hour and 20 minutes. Our time of possession for those 2 games was 39 minutes and change, so less than half. So our 39 minutes and change was less than the time of possession that Purdue had when they played us, which was over 42 minutes time of possession in their favor for that 1 game, which was more than our TOP, time of possession, for 2 games combined. Okay. At this point still, I would still give Mickey Joseph an A-. Do I feel like I'm being a little bit kind? Yeah, we're playing better teams. There's things going on. I get that. Okay, now the Minnesota game was a game that was really tough for me. If you watch my gut reaction, if you watch my Carriker live, you'll know why, okay? I mean, I'll just dive into it a little bit here. But how do we look so good in the first half, then struggle so bad in the second half? We had a great game plan coming into the game, but we lacked in-game adjustments, and that's where Minnesota beat us because they in-game adjusted us, okay? We were very physical in the first half, but then we got wore down. And again, I'm going to remind you, Mickey Joseph is building this plane as he's flying it. I can only imagine what that's like, okay? And so major props to him, nothing but love and respect for Mickey Joseph and the job he's done so far, okay? After that, I forget if I said, but after that Purdue-Illinois game, I would have had his grade at that point after the Illinois game, after we had played Purdue and Illinois, an A-, okay? This Minnesota game, I have to reevaluate things again. So we're building the plane as we're flying it. We didn't start the right quarterback. We didn't go to Logan Smothers soon enough. And a lot of those decisions fall on Mark Whipple. But they also fall on the head coach, which is Mickey Joseph. Okay, and I talked about that in yesterday's show as well. Now, my overall thoughts on how Mickey has done so far, I think he's done a great job. Okay, what a position to be put in. He's also representing this university with class, and I appreciate that. I have missed that. Okay, my current grade that I would give Mickey Joseph for how he's done to this point so far is a B+. A B+. Now, the team has definitely improved in a lot of areas, no doubt about it. Some of the drawbacks, okay, again, not entirely on Mickey, but somewhat, okay, to be fair. Lack of developing a backup quarterback or simply just playing the right quarterback when appropriate. Also, no improvements whatsoever. This is the one thing that's kind of frustrated me the most. Also, no improvements whatsoever on the offensive line, not even a little bit. Now, to counterbalance that, we've been without Nerdy New Willie the entire year and Teddy Prohaska for the majority of the year. That's 40% of your offensive line that you're missing. Also, to counterbalance that, injuries are a part of football. I remember Ohio State winning a national championship a few years ago with, their 51st string quarterback. I think he was third. Okay, Minnesota's backup comes in on Saturday. I could argue they don't win if he doesn't come in, but they found a way to win with him in. Okay, and he replaced their all-time winningest quarterback in their program's history in Tanner Morgan, and they found a way. So injuries, it balances out, okay? Now, am I grading on a curve? Yeah, probably, and rightfully so, okay? Would I be happy if Mickey Joseph was our next head coach? Yes. He'd do a good job. Am I happy? Do I think he will be our next head coach? Doubtful. I think the Minnesota game specifically really hurt him. Am I happy and proud that he stepped up to be our interim head coach? Yes, I am. Thank you, Mickey. Thank you for the job you've done so far. Thank you for the job that you'll continue to do and the way you'll continue to do it. Smash that like button if you want to say thank you to Mickey Joseph. Comment below. Do you agree with my grade or not? Do you think Mickey should be our next head coach? Do you not think he should be our next head coach? Comment and let me know who if you don't think it's him. Tune in for tomorrow's show. It's going to be prime. Throw the bones. This show is brought to you by XCancer. Join the fight at XCancerStore.com and support your loved ones, your neighbors, and cancer fighters all over the world and help them gain access to revolutionary treatments. XCancerStore.com has a wide variety of t-shirts and merchandise supporting a wide variety of cancer battles so you can show off the colors that matter. Proceeds from each purchase not only help those at home, but also cancer fighters in Tanzania, Africa. Check them out at XCancerStore.com.